smashing it with metabolic balance. I was really in my rhythm of things. I have Hashimoto's myself, so that was something that really attracted me to the program. I was able to release 10 kilos with ease, improve my energy, and that is no small thing for anyone with Hashimoto's. I just couldn't believe the difference that it made to my life, and it was this beautiful knock-on effect because I was just supporting women, other women, lots of women with thyroid issues, and things were just going really well until I got to the point where I'd stopped breastfeeding my daughter 6 months before, and she had bitten me during breastfeeding. My nipple just did not heal, and I was doing all of the things to support healing, and it was just outside of that healing normal time frame. It turns out I had stage 3 HER2 positive breast cancer, and metabolic balance just supported me in so many ways. My inflammation was low, my TSH and all of my thyroid markers normalized after that, which was after doing the program, which was crazy. I feel like I was in such good health. I mean, obviously apart from the cancer, but everything else was so, so good. Even my cancer markers, they were actually quite low. They were as low as a normal person, like despite what was going on. But all of my blood work, everything else, if you looked at me, I looked perfectly healthy, and I was able to use lots of those principles to kind of help me on my cancer journey.
Hello and welcome to the Metabolic Balance Stories podcast. This is where we share real stories and insights into personalized nutrition with metabolic balance. I'm Cherry Wills, I'm your host, and today I'm joined by Angelica Hazel Toutounji. Angelica is from Adelaide, and she is a fantastic metabolic balance practitioner. Angelica Hazel has her qualifications as a degree qualified nutritionist and also has a master's in reproductive medicine. So it's wonderful to have you here, Angelica Hazel. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
So immediately I want to know talk us through your practice. What's your speciality and what's your focus in practice?
So I have a very heavy women's health focus. So I graduated from my nutrition degree, and then I gave birth to my eldest daughter 5 days later, and that just kind of sent me down the rabbit hole of being obsessed with everything women's health related. Yeah, I had another baby after that, and then I decided to do my master's. So I get lots of preconception clients, pregnancy, postpartum, and with metabolic balance, I get lots of just women with different hormonal conditions. So yeah.
So what was it that brought you to metabolic balance? What piqued your interest in the beginning with bringing this to your practice?
I guess I've always really believed in a food as medicine approach. Initially, I thought I wanted to be a naturopath, and I still have fleeting thoughts of going back and finishing that degree. But I switched to nutrition because I really felt that food is the foundation of whatever I wanted to do. And I wanted, it's the foundation of good health. And going through uni, it was very much that nutritional medicine, food is medicine approach. And calorie counting didn't feel right to me. And I had just heard some like incredible success stories with metabolic balance. And I just thought, wow, if I could support patients to release weight with ease, balance hormones, and just like live a more fulfilling life with the nutrition side, that was what I wanted to do. And I just felt I needed something that went that extra mile that really got the results. And honestly, it was the best decision I made.
Lovely that you say that. But have you got some some insights that you would share as to how metabolic balance helps with those hormonal imbalances that you see in your practice? I mean, what are you seeing?
Well, I've got a bit of what's been happening over the last year is I've had quite a few surprise pregnancies. So I always like to tell people to be mindful. I had a lovely client. She's just had her baby, but she was trying to conceive for 2 years, and she had PCOS, endometriosis, and she just didn't even think it was within the realms of possibility. She just kind of put it in the back of her mind. She was maybe week 8 of the program and she conceived. accidentally. I also had another client who conceived, and it took a little bit for her to get her mind around it because she was not expecting to conceive either. And I've probably got over 5 stories of just women falling pregnant with ease. And yeah, so it definitely supports healthy hormones. It gets them ovulating regularly, and yeah, it's just a joy to see metabolic balance babies coming.
Yeah, it's because this is what we have got quite a few MV babies around, which is, I just love it, because it is that getting rid of the inflammation, isn't it? Because I mean, like so many of the hormone imbalances we see in those women's health story, conditions that you just talked about, PCOS, endometriosis, dysmenorrhea, it's actually a lot of imbalance and inflammation.
Massively. And for me, I feel like it's a fantastic preconception care program. I always say to my clients, whichever way this goes, whether you need a little bit of assistance with, say the IVF route, or whether it's a natural conception, metabolic balance will just set you up for really good health beforehand. So I don't promise anything, but yeah, I've seen incredible results with just natural conception.
And I know this is okay to ask you about because you've had your own health challenges, haven't you, over the last few years? Could you just share what they are?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was smashing it with metabolic balance. I was really in my, rhythm of things. I have Hashimoto's myself. So that was something that really attracted me to the program. When I did my training, I actually had to wait before I could undertake it because I was breastfeeding. And as soon as I stopped breastfeeding, I went on it. I was able to release 10 kilos with ease, improve my energy. And that is no small thing for anyone with Hashimoto's. I just couldn't believe the difference that it made to my life. And it was this beautiful knock-on effect because I was just supporting women, other women, lots of women with thyroid issues, and things were just going really well until I got to the point where I was like, why am I low in energy? And I'd stopped breastfeeding my daughter maybe 6 months before, and she had bitten me during breastfeeding. My nipple just did not heal, and I was doing all of the things to support healing, and it was just outside of that healing, normal time frame. And I got a job actually my dream job. I was working at a women's health gynecology clinic, and I said to one of the doctors, I was like, hey, can I book an appointment? Can I just show you this? And she took one look at me and she was like, oh, that could be nipple cancer. And, she's like, look, it could be an infection. We'll swab it. And long story short, that kind of got me down the rabbit hole of getting tests. And turns out I had stage 3 HER2 positive breast cancer.
Yeah. So how old can you share how old you are?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll be 36 in October.
So you just had your 2 beautiful babies and you're in your dream job and everything was going really beautifully. And then you get your diagnosis of stage 3 breast cancer.
Yeah, it was very, very tough. But crazily, I managed to keep working throughout. Like I did chemotherapy, I did radiotherapy, I did surgery, I did immunotherapy. I literally did all of the things because it was pretty bad. My initial oncologist said, oh, okay, you'll probably get leukemia and we'll probably take your ovaries and we'll do this and that because she falsely assumed that I had genetic issues. And I ended up, I'm very grateful that I am a health practitioner because I just advocated for myself and I was like, yeah, this is a bit of a mismatch. And I luckily found a really good surgeon, a really good oncologist, and I didn't have any genetic issues. They didn't, I didn't get leukemia. I didn't have to take my ovaries. My cancer was bad, but every single point I passed with flying colors.
Okay. And so so can you just give us a little bit more of that timeline and how you carried on working throughout?
Basically, I was diagnosed April 2023 with the breast cancer, and I still had some metabolic balance clients ongoing. And it's such a ripple effect when, I don't advertise that much, but when I help one person, their friends or their family want help. And I am the sort of person, if I can help someone, I always want to. So even though I was kind of going through health challenges, it actually was a really positive thing to still consult. I mean, I didn't go crazy with it. I wasn't full-time consulting, and all of my clients, I was very upfront. I was like, look, this is my situation. But and they were like, yeah, can you still help us? And so I was just, careful with my time. I only took on a few additional clients, but it really helped me in a way to know that I'm doing something positive and actually helping others. And it took my mind off, I guess if I'm helping other people, I'm not thinking about dying, which was quite nice. And yeah, I found out after, so in October, I had to have a single mastectomy that same year. They took 10 of my lymph nodes and then they test them. And I found out, I think it's 5 days after surgery, I got complete pathological response. So there was no cancer in my body.
That's so amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
It was just incredible. And even like, I shared my journey publicly on my social media because I just felt this could happen to anyone. I was so healthy, young. I had all of the protective factors with breastfeeding. I don't smoke, I don't drink. And I still got breast cancer. So I shared that. I shared, with my clients, and it was a really hard phase, but I also felt like I had so much support. Like my clients would, I told them I was taking a couple of weeks off after my surgery, and they were just so kind. Like some of them even sent me like gifts and flowers, and it was just, yeah, it was beautiful.
And so you had a really good response to the treatment then.
Massively. So they nuked me, nuked me. They gave me the harshest chemo that they could give me initially, which is, I can't remember the actual name, but they call it the Red Devil because it is bright red, and everyone kind of gowns up when they come near you. As soon as you go to the bathroom, like your urine's bright red, and it's pretty intense. But I had that initially, and after that first bout, they gave me a ultrasound, and they couldn't see the cancer. They literally had to get the head person in to check, because they were like, we don't know what they could initially see, but it's not there. So it was kind of like I didn't have any genetic issues. All of these times when they're checking along the way, they were like, you're passing with flying colors.
So do you think, I mean, like we talk about actually supporting the body because we want to always use the best of both worlds in modern medicine and also traditional medicine, don't we? We want to support the body through healing whilst we use the best advances that really support the body for healing in modern medicine as well. Do you think that you actually managed to bridge that gap pretty well? Because it sounds to me like you really did get the best of both worlds.
Massively. Like I feel like I was in such good health. I mean, obviously apart from the cancer, but everything else was so, so good. Even my cancer markers, they were actually quite low. They were as low as a normal person, like despite what was going on. But all of my blood work, everything else, if you looked at me, I looked perfectly healthy. And I was able to use lots of those principles to kind of help me on my cancer journey. Obviously I had to modify during my treatment, but because I was in such good health, I really think it helped me.
Yeah, because I mean, like the thing that we know is that a lot of cancers are very slow growing, as in they are that I mean, like it's always dependent on the different cancer, and it's not that just like one day you have cancer and the day before you didn't. It's actually just when it's discovered. And so a lot of the preliminary work when you were really getting yourself healthy, eating well, following your MB program, getting that Hashimoto's, getting your immune system really back on track. Because that's one of the things with Hashimoto's, isn't it? I mean, it's an autoimmune condition that is distracted. What would you say about that with the, how you see your immune system being supported?
Oh, massively. It just I was trying, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto 6 months postpartum. So I really went through the ringer. And I think it was just because I had a postpartum hemorrhage, I was low iron, all of these kind of factors. I feel like I was probably underlying, subclinical for a little while. And metabolic balance just I don't even know. It supported me in so many ways. My inflammation was low, my TSH and all of my thyroid markers normalized after that, which was after doing the program, which was crazy.
I think it demonstrates the power of the human body to rebalance itself when it's given the opportunity to do so. For me, it's not that, you know, it's nothing about necessarily it's the metabolic balance. It's the food that you were eating. It's the food that you were then able to reduce that inflammation and get yourself into a strong place. And then you were in a stronger place when the cancer was then found to actually address that as well.
And I honestly feel like every single thing that happens, good or bad, it's an opportunity to learn. So I, not that I would wish it upon myself, but I kind of made the best out of each opportunity, because you think you know a bit and then you get hit with a health obstacle and you're like, okay, this is an opportunity for learning and growth. So I just kind of, yeah, just went with it.
Yeah. So where are you now with your following, following MB, or, following your health journey?
So basically, after my surgery, after my immunotherapy and, finished treatment, I actually did a new plan for myself, because I really wanted to know, okay, now that I've had the breast cancer, like what difference will there be? And because I was still supporting clients, I really wanted to kind of walk my talk and not just rely on the old one. And it didn't change too dramatically, but I just felt so empowered having that information and knowing, okay, for me uniquely as a person with all of my previous health issues, I know these foods are always going to be good for me. So that was what I found incredibly empowering. And yeah, it's definitely something that I love to kind of fall back on.
Hmm. And are you following it super strictly right now? I mean, like Hashimoto's, we always know that you have to be a little bit careful what you do reintroduce, because you never quite know what's going to trigger that inflammation again. But do you find that you're in a good maintenance phase with it now, that you feel you're happily going with the flow with it?
Massively. So I feel like it's pretty much stock standard. I have my 3 meals a day. I'm fasting in between. I've started introducing some more intense exercise. So because of that, I've had to increase some more carbohydrates. I've just given myself a little bit more food freedom, which has been really nice. But yeah, I feel very empowered because I've got the tools and I know I can always go back to it. So it's just been metabolic balance is my base. I have my non-negotiables. I have my apple every day. I have my long black. I um yeah, I stick to those windows. Even what I found really interesting when I was sick was there was a study about breast cancer reoccurrence, and one of the best things that you can do is to have a period of over 13 hours fasting overnight. So I found, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm already doing it. So that just things like that backed up with research really helped me. But yeah, I pretty much follow most of the things. I'm not weighing my food anymore. I'm not, if I feel like something that's not on my plan, whether it's a fruit or a vegetable, because I've, trialed and I just include it.
So, and with your practice, so in your work, where your focus now is to build up your practice once again. Are you taking on more clients? And
I took a little bit of a break, just because after helping someone all like people all through, I got to the end this year and I was like, wow, I'm a little bit tired. I'm gonna stop clinic for a little bit. And I stopped and I was like, oh no, you know what? I kind of miss it, but I need to do it in a way that doesn't deplete myself. So I'm just getting better at that, because I feel like one of my biggest drivers for getting cancer was probably stress. And not because I don't love what I'm doing. I love all of the aspects of my life hard, but it's yeah, just getting that elusive balance.
Isn't that just what we have as well, though? It's most people. We have a very sort of demanding, hectic, and the lifestyle. And I kind of think with the online world, it's almost like it's hard to get that natural switch off.
And it's a learning opportunity for me because I just want to help everybody all the time. But if I'm not well rested, if I'm not in a good place, mentally, then I can't. And there are things that I can do, which are in my control, and there are things that I can't. And I think it's a continuous battle, but something I'm really trying to learn.
Think it's a ongoing. I'm trying to learn that too. I think I think it's that universal kind of trying to calm the demands of the modern world. It's just prioritizing though. It's at the same time though, isn't it? Because I think sometimes when we are faced with that health challenge, it actually is a natural way of saying, well, what is the priority here? Is it rushing around and doing social media or whatever it might be? Or is it actually, no, getting in the kitchen and cooking myself a good meal that will nourish my body?
And my husband really, I guess, cemented to me, because I feel like before I got cancer, I would just put everyone else's needs before my own. My children, my husband, my family, my clients. I was just like, oh, I'll rest later. I'll do that later. I'm so busy helping everybody else. Whereas he, when I got sick, he's like, no, you are the priority now. Your health and you looking after yourself has to come before the kids, because if you don't do that, there'll be no you. So that just was a really timely reminder that, okay, like, this is actually quite serious. I can't just keep going the way that I am. So
But as when we're working with clients, it's not it doesn't have to be such a, you know, a, a, a significant health challenge like you had with breast cancer, but it can just be if you're not feeling well in yourself, if you're not actually strong and rested and feeling energized, then it's a little bit, it should be a wake-up call that you need to be looking after yourself in a different way.
and it's like we'll never be this young again. Like, we're missing out on life if we're not healthy and vital and doing those things.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of women clients. I mean, you've got a specialist. This is your clinic focus, but I think sometimes women, especially, we are often take on that more caring role of caring for people around us and putting their needs first. And so it's part of the job of sometimes as a coach, is it not, is to actually say, come on, no, you need to put yourself first. And this is not selfish, this is self-care, so you can now actually care for others in the way that you want to.
Actively. I've taken on a few male clients, over the last couple of years, and it's very different. I find with men, there's not as much to talk about in a way, because I'll be like, how was this? And they were like, well, it was written down. You told me to do it. I did it. And that was it. Whereas I find as women, we're so much more emotional. All of the emotions kind of get in the way. Whereas lots of the men just smash it out, follow the plan to the T, and get really good results.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, there's that mentality of, well, it was written, that I did what I needed to do. Whereas sometimes with some women clients, it's not, we don't want to generalize here. If this is just generalized, but there is a tendency to say, oh, well, no, I couldn't do that because I had to do that, and I had to take so and so to some soccer match, and then I had to come back and do this, and then I had to, and I'm like, okay, no, we've got to come back. You needed to fuel your body first.
I think in society, it's just so deeply ingrained, the good mother, the good wife, the good, looks after, feeds everyone else first. And it's like, well, no, you can't pour from an empty cup. You need to make your health a priority. Otherwise, you will get a wake up call, which you don't want.
Absolutely. There was actually, you just reminded me, there was a phrase that I heard years ago. I think there was a phrase called burnt toast. And the idea being that who gets the burnt bit of toast? So if you're cooking something and there's one little bit that isn't quite right, like as in like the burnt bit of toast, are you somebody that would, oh yeah, I'll give everybody else the good bits and I'll take the bit that's a bit dodgy, that actually isn't that great? And I think this is something that as a, women and in a caregiving role, we end up taking the burnt bit of toast because it's what we've kind of been taught over the years. We we can't look after ourselves. We have to give the good bits away and just make do with what's left.
Totally, totally. But it's almost like, when we give to ourselves and we're in that good place, we want to give more. We've got more to give to those around us. So it's really like kinder.
Yeah, it's that, it's again being on the plane, isn't it? The safety briefing on the plane. You've got to put your own mask on first. Yeah. Don't yeah. Yeah. Have you got any clients that spring to mind of some really, some results that just make you smile?
Yeah, I have one long-term client. Oh my gosh, she came to me, she's going through that perimenopause period, and she was just very type A, and she couldn't lose weight, and she was driving her.
What do you mean by type A? So there may be people that don't quite know what type A is.
She likes to do everything. How would I explain it?
Very focused and driven.
Very focused and driven. Yes, you tell her running is good for you, she will run miles, kind of thing. And just like an absolutely beautiful person. And she was just getting really fed up about not getting results because she was, putting in the effort, exercising and all of those things. And initially we had some real struggles with metabolic balance. It was mainly like emotional blocks, and this is hard, and I felt sick, and all of this stuff. But then she started getting results, and she lost, I think it was 30 kilos in the end, and she's kept it off. And it's been, over a year and a half now. And what she's found is it's actually given her so much food freedom. So she doesn't stress about every little thing that she eats, and weighing things is just a part of her life, and she looks so vital, so healthy. And just seeing that transformation, because at the start, it was that we were fighting about, come on, you can do this, and she was like, no, no, no. Whereas now she just, she it's just part of her life, and I love seeing that. So she's one of my dear, dear clients. She was one that actually sent me gifts when I was sick. And then I have another client. She's actually a friend's mum, and she came to me. She's got really bad arthritis. She could barely walk and was just in so much pain, but she had to lose weight, but it hurts her when she walks. And she did the program. She released, I want to say, over 10 kilos. And on her last holiday, they went to, I think it was Wallaroo, or, just like a seaside town. Her and her husband were doing laps of the jetty, and she was doing it without pain. And for me, I was like, oh, I just, you're giving people their life back. It's not just about reaching a dress size or anything like that. It was just, yeah, that one really stuck with me.
That's lovely. And I think it's that whole realization that the human body wants is almost compensating with symptoms, is it not? I mean, like the pain and the arthritis, that was a compensatory tactic that's almost was happening. You give the body back the fuel it needs, and then everything could, like joints can start to be lubricated again potentially, and the pain can be the inflammation can be relaxed, so there's no pain or minimal pain. We don't cure things, obviously, but isn't it fun though when people just get to do what they really want to do, as opposed to their health symptoms stopping them doing what they want to do?
It makes me feel really emotional and really humbled that I've kind of been a part of it. Like, I just, it's so special, because I think, like, yes, the health aspects are great, but then I look at when you overcome something, like, you commit, you do the program, you really get on top of your health, it translates so beautifully in other areas of life, because you're like, oh, where else am I holding myself back? What else can I achieve? And you just, all of a sudden, the world kind of opens up for you, and you just feel, yeah, you feel so much more ready to thrive.
ill health or imbalance stops people doing other stuff that is actually should be nothing to do with their health, but because their health is so predominantly directing what they want and can and able to do, that it does close the world in.
Massively. Massively.
It's been so lovely talking to you today, Angelica Hazel. I really do appreciate it. Is there any little ending, little snapshot of anything you would just want to share with somebody who's maybe thinking of either introducing metabolic balance as a practitioner or or contacting a practitioner as a client to do metabolic balance?
Starting, if you're a practitioner, I can honestly say it's been a game changer for my for my clinic, for my practice. It means I'm able to support clients really well with the program that I know that works and that gets results. So my clients are happy. I'm constantly getting referrals in terms of a, financial benefit. It's definitely helped there. And I have no regrets that I invested in the program and the training. As a client, I would honestly say, find a practitioner that resonates with you and ask all the questions. But I, yeah, I can't recommend it enough for myself personally as a client, and for the results that I've achieved with my clients. It's definitely been a big help.
It is. I mean, I think it does takes, taking that leap of saying, "Yep, I'm going to change things, and I want things to be different." But it's infinitely worth it, is it not?
It's a massive, yeah, it's definitely worth it. And it's a very good investment. I have clients that, yes, they've, initially paid, but they come back and do a reset regularly. So it means that they've always got that program that they can go back to. So yeah, they've always been pretty happy.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and thank you so much for so generously sharing your story and your experience. And if anybody would like to find out more about working with Angelica Hazel or finding a practitioner near you, please do check out the show notes or check out the website at www.metabolic-balance.com. And tune in again next time where we'll have more stories. And again, a big thank you, Angelica Hazel.
Thank you for having me. It's been so fun.